Now that I have finished marathoning the Alien franchise, I need a new series to marathon. And since Wicked Part 1 is coming out in November, I figured, you know what? I should rewatch The Wizard of Oz as well as every Wizard of Oz related movie leading up to Wicked. So this month I'm watching the original, next month I'm gonna watch The Wiz, October I'm gonna watch Return to Oz, which I've never seen before, and then November, Oz the Great and Powerful, just in time for Wicked. So let's get into the original 1939 classic, The Wizard of Oz. Let's review. So The Wizard of Oz is about Dorothy, who wishes for a life outside of what she's used to. She gets caught in a tornado and transported to a whole new world called Oz. She inadvertently kills one of the witches, but the Wicked Witch of the West is on her tail, so Glinda the Good Witch gives her slippers and sends her on the yellow brick road where she meets some friends and goes to Oz so that she can get back home. Now, for my personal history with The Wizard of Oz. Of course, you don't need me to tell you how iconic this movie is and how important it is to cinema. It was one of the first movies to ever be filmed in Technicolor, but for me, it was always one of those movies where every time it came on TV, I always watched it because it was rare that I ever saw it. And even though it's not particularly one of my favorite movies of all time, I've always admired and respect this film because of its place in the history of cinema and what it did for cinema. And I still do to this day, because after rewatching it, that's basically the feelings I have now. Though I will say, watching with adult eyes, I have two revelations about this movie, which I'll get into in a little bit. But I've always admired how the first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie is in black and white, and then when she opens the door, it is nothing but color in the world she just entered. And I just love the setup in which, you get that famous song Over the Rainbow, sung beautifully by Judy Garland, who plays Dorothy in the movie. She's a little whiny at first because the lady wants her dog Toto, who we would come to see as the Wicked Witch of the West later, which I'll get into in a little bit. But once she's in this world, it's like she sees her real world counterparts of this world. And of course, besides Over the Rainbow, you get other iconic songs like The Yellow Brick Road, We're Off to See the Wizard. Judy Garland is excellent in the role of Dorothy. She made you feel like she is just this teenage girl that wants more in life, and then once she gets out of her element, she is just out of her element, and she is dying to get home and get home to her Auntie M. And she is the perfect catalyst of this movie. Now, along the way, she meets Scarecrow. He wants to go to Oz to ask for a brain. Then she meets the Tin Man, who wants a heart, and she meets the Cowardly Lion, who wants courage. And this is one of the first revelations. I'm sorry, but the Cowardly Lion, he is a bitch. And I know that's his thing. He's a coward and he just wants some courage. But he's just afraid of every damn thing. I'm like, bro, you're a lion. Stop being a bitch. Pardon my language. But these three characters are the perfect side characters to Dorothy to go on this journey with, because they all want something and want something very important. And I think we can all relate to all four of these characters. Then when they do get to Oz, he wants them to kill the Wicked Witch of the West. Now, the Wicked Witch of the West, she is probably one of my favorite villainesses in every movie because of how classic she is and how basic she is. And plus, she's just one of the few Disney villains that I love to imitate.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. How about a little fire, Scarecrow?
Though it is crazy how all it took was water to kill the witch.
You cursed brat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world!
Now, of course, they bring the broom of the Wicked Witch, and it turns out Oz is the person that Dorothy met at home, or at least that's his counterpart. And so he gets the Tin Man a heart, the Lion a medal for courage, and the Scarecrow a certificate to show how smart he is. And then he offers to take Dorothy home on the air balloon, which he accidentally takes off without her. And so then that's when Glinda the Good Witch, she steps in and she tells her, all you had to do was click your heels if you wanted to go home. To which, that's my second revelation, which is that Glinda the Good Witch, she is the real villain of this movie. She did all that just to teach Dorothy a lesson and kill the witch without getting her hands dirty. Glinda is the real villain. But regardless, she does get home, and it turns out it was all a dream, and she's now in her bed with Toto and everybody that she loves. And I've always liked how beautiful this ending is, because it does drive home the message of the movie that there is no place like home, and she's just happy that she's home with everyone and that she's never gonna leave home. Like, every time I see that scene, I get a little choked up. Obviously, I love and respect this movie, but it's not one of my favorite movies of all time. But I will always have a spot in my heart for this movie, for how groundbreaking it was for the time period it came out, the colorful characters, a meaningful lesson, and the film is definitely well deserved of its iconic status. And that's why I'm gonna give The Wizard of Oz the hard eyes emoji.